Welcome to Silverstone, the home of British motorsport for round 9 of the Inside Line Racing 3 Championship season. And well, this is always a round to look forward to. One of the greatest tracks on the calendar, steeped with history. I mean, since the 1950s, Silverstone has hosted Grand Prix in real life, and how many great races have we seen in esports over the years for this particular F1 series, and this is no different, I'm sure, today. So after the events of the Austrian Grand Prix last week, which was a very entertaining race, it's Joker and Goody who have emerged as the main two title contenders for the time being, but there is still a long way to go in this championship, because we've got one of the toughest tests of the season, 26 laps of the 5.8 kilometer circuit to come. But first of all, we of course have the 12-minute qualifying session, and Joker has excelled in the mixed conditions in qualifying this season, but it is dry conditions out there, so we'll see what sort of pace Joker has out there today and see if anyone else can get themselves into the mix for a spot on the front row. So we'll have a quick look at the drivers' standings. It is a 1-point gap between Goody and Joker, 102 and 101 points respectively. Quite a large gap now to Jack in third place on 70 points, and making up the top 5 is Cloudy Balloons on 57 and Owen Wyatt on 55 points. Meanwhile, in the constructors' battle, it has really swung in recent races. Renault made a great start to the season, but Cloudy Balloons and the Joker in particular have really turned it around for Sauber, and they lead the way on 158 points, with Renault on 126 points. Williams on 112 points, recovering from a fairly slow start to the season, and McLaren on 106 points. Most of those points, of course, a result of Yannick, although Pagani has had some very good results in recent races, and Acorn, of course, still looking for his first points of the season, so I wish him all the best for the British Grand Prix, home event for a lot of the drivers on the grid today. And Red Bull making up the top 5 on 69 points, and they'll be looking for better things. Right down the bottom, Toro Rosso on 37 points, so Sim will hopefully be joining at some point in the session to make it a 17 race grid tonight. So I've got to keep an eye on Joker and Goody, of course, as he actually can't see. Oh, is Goody not here this evening? Actually can't see him. Wow, so it looks like, unless I'm very much mistaken, I don't think Goody's even on the grid tonight. Well, that's a shame for the title battle, but plenty of rounds to come. So we're going to do a lap of the circuit with the man in second place, and if he can get at least 2 points, in fact even one would be enough because he's got a superior win record, he will take the lead of the championship. Yeah, I had to look at that twice. Yeah, Goody is not there. I was not aware he was not going to be on the grid tonight. So anyway, let's do a lap of this fantastic Silverstone circuit. So flying through turn 1 at top gear, flat out as we head into the first set of corners. This turns 3 and 4, known as the loop. And you have to really be accurate on your steering so you can get the best traction for the exit out into turn 5, which is going up onto the straight, Aintree Straight. Of course, this track significantly longer than the old format. Saw some classic battles such as Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher clashing with one another in 1995, and that wet effective race in 1998. So we head through Luffield then onto the old start-finish straight, heading towards one of the best corners in Formula 1, being Copse, who is going to be brave enough to go flat out in qualifying. Much more difficult during the race, but towards the end of the race, as the fuel burns off, you will be able to go. And then, of course, the majestic section of corners of Maggots, Beckett's, as an early pace set by Acorn, and then go back on board with Joker then, heading up through the hangar straight for the second DRS zone on the circuit, and then right up to Stowe corner, tough braking zone, easy to slide the back end and lose time, and he runs wide. Hopefully he doesn't get invalidation for that. So Joker heading into the Vale then, and let's see what kind of banker lap this is going to be for him, heading through Club Corner, and he crosses the line, and what's it going to be? So 1:28.155. So that is the early pace set by Joker. As I said earlier, he's really impressed in the mixed qualifying sessions this season. He hasn't had a pole position in fully dry conditions yet, but he's looking to really stamp his mark once again on the qualifying session. So then Pagani running in second. You know, he had a steady start and then a bit of a disaster of a race at Baku, but Austria was a real, especially in qualifying, a really good session for him. It just didn't work out for him quite in the race, but he's certainly looking like at some point he's going to have the pace to get onto the podium, and Mr. Sim does indeed join the session. So he will have a default setup, unfortunately, unless that, of course, is not, park firmly is not enabled, but I don't actually know if that's the case in this particular league. So is anyone on a flying lap at the moment? Let's get the times on. No, Joker's on an in lap. So top 11 setting times so far. And it looks like Cloudy moving up through Maggotts and Beckett's, currently in third. So Sauber 1 and 3 right now. Their closest rivals in the Constructors' Championship being Renault. They're currently fourth. Did Jack just set a time? No, Jack hasn't set a time yet. Or Danny goes quicker for 1:28, 1:42 for the Haas team. So that's a really good lap from Danny, who's, you know, at times he's really impressed this season. In other races he's just sort of vanished. So, you know, consistency has been Danny's main problem this season. And Pagani sets a 1:28.026. So Joker maybe has a bit of competition here at Silverstone today for that pole position. So Wazzy is on track for Ferrari. He's gone for the soft tyres. Let's have a look at the different tyre compounds, see what's being fitted. Little Piece on the softs has set a time for 1:29.914 and a 1:35.49 for Lilia on the mediums. So different strategies may be being employed by some of the drivers, but they could just be sort of getting a feel for the circuit before fitting those super softs on for their final runs. So Wazzy on his outlap at the moment. And let's have a look at Huberto Mancini in Mercedes. So Audio Gorilla, I think, only made one appearance this season, so finally Mercedes have maybe a long-term replacement in Huberto Mancini. Whether he's related to Roberto, the former Manchester City manager, I have no idea at this point, but if he can drive as quickly as Mancini got them Manchester City to win a Premiership title, he's going to be an impressive addition to the ILR3 grid. He pits and he's currently in 7th position, so that's a reasonable place to be inside the top 10. It's a very close top 10 at the moment. Let's have a look at the gaps. So less than a second separating the top 10. So as ever, this particular league, a very tightly knit group in terms of the timing screens. Very rarely have we seen anyone dominate qualifying this season so far, and that is a very good thing. But as we've seen for all his wins really, Joker, when he's in pole position and he gets a clean getaway, he's not really seen again. Very Sebastian Vettel-esque from his Red Bull days. So a lot of his competitors will be trying desperately to stop Joker from getting onto that pole position, because they know that he's got the pace. If it's the same as previous rounds, just to run away, especially as Goody is not here today. So it's kind of quiet, most of the field in the pits. So let's have a look at there's only one car on the track at the moment, and that is Wazzy. Let's see how he ends up. Can he go faster than the 1:21.914 by Little Piece, which is the fastest soft time at the moment, about the only soft time so far. Jack has finally come out of the garage, so we'll certainly get a lap with him. Owen Wyatt then coming out for Red Bull, so just over 3.5 minutes of the session. In terms of the pit strategy for this race, one stop will be absolutely dominant here. It's one of the longest pit stops of any of the tracks on the grid. It's the best part of 40 seconds. You do not want to be doing a two-stop strategy if it's a fully dry race. So you expect the super soft runners to be going to at least lap 10, 11 before they pit for a set of soft or medium tyres. And those starting outside the top 10 probably want to start on the soft compound. The safe strategy would be to do soft to mediums, but some of the drivers are capable of stretching out the softs and then going on the super softs to finish the race. But either way, one stop, you know, some tracks it's questionable, but here, one stop, absolutely the optimum strategy. You cannot recover that time, especially with the safety car disabled, so there's no possibility of making a two-stop work and then hoping for a late safety car to make it work. Hopefully F1 2018 will fix the safety car so we see a bit more strategy. So Wazzy sets a 1:28.622, so he's in the top 10 on the softs. That's a very reasonable effort from the Ferrari driver. Let's have a look at Jack, because he's actually on a flying lap. Most of the rest of the grids are coming out of the pits now for their final runs. Jack knows he's got to get it right now, because he's unlikely to be able to get another good run at it. Super softs wear out fairly quickly, even qualify. Oh, he runs wide at the second part of Beckett's, so that's going to really cost him a lot of time. And Unfortunately, once again, the YouTube chat isn't working for me. I don't know why on this channel it doesn't work for me, but maybe it's like a restriction or something, but I'll try and keep working that. But for those of you watching, welcome to the race stream, and I hope you enjoy what promises to be a fantastic race here for Inside Line Racing 3. And Jack, despite that mistake, a 1:28.288, well, it's a really good time despite the mistake, but maybe he'll slightly regret he didn't do 2 runs, so he can get another crack at it later on. Currently in 4th place, but I do fear with the track evolution and some of those quick drivers out there, he will tumble from his current position, but maybe not. There's a lot, still a minute and a half of the session to go. So where is Cloudy at the moment? On an out lap. Danny is on a flying lap at the moment. Let's see where everyone else is. Acorn currently in 14th. Owen Wyatt's on a flying lap. What about Joker? We need to see where Joker is. Yellow's in sector 1. That's Huberto Mancini. And he has come a cropper. An absolute cropper, and that looks like, yeah, that is the exit of Cops, so he's absolutely lost it. And that is fatal damage, and Wazzy, obviously his session's over because he didn't have time to come out again, so he's currently in 10th place. So where is Joker right now? He's about to start a flying lap. Cloudy is on a flying lap as well, but Danny, I think, was closer. Yes, so Danny is going to be the first of the top 5, I do believe, to head to the line. Pagani at the moment is in provisional pole, so the gap that Danny's got to find is just over a 1/10 of a second. Yellow's in sector 1. There's another retirement. Is that Owen Wyatt? But I think he just did a flying lap, so he's in 9th place. I'm not going to look at it because I'm just going to see what can the Haas driver do. Can he move up onto the front row of the grid as it stands? And he does, and he's got a 1:27.760 into the 27s we go. Excellent lap from Danny, and will that be enough to get him the pole position? Where's Pagani actually? So it's going to be Cloudy up next. Jamie finishes in 6th and didn't improve. So Cloudy heading towards the Vale and Club Corner. He's got to find a lot of time. Over 6 tenths he's got to find Cloudy to get onto pole position. And where's he going to end up? He goes 3rd. That's a good effort. What about Joker? Joker heading through to Hangar Straight. Pagani heading through Maggers and Beggars. Nicolo retires from the session. A disappointing 13th for the Force India driver. So he'll have to fight through the field again, as he has done in the last couple of races. And look at that, Lorenzo. Let's put it up into 2nd place, but what can the Joker do? Can the Joker put it onto the front row of the grid? Joker heads for the line, and it is a 1:27.641. What will Pagani do? Pagani only 3rd, so Joker has done it again. Because I don't believe there's anyone else out there on track, unless Danny's going for another run. No, he's 9 tenths down, so that, I believe, is it. Once again, Joker with supreme 1-lap pace, and he's done it in the dry this time. So anyone who thought he could only do it in those mixed conditions has had that opinion firmly slapped in their faces. Joker's proven he can do it in whatever conditions you put in front of him. Goodness me, but it was close, just over a 1/10 of a second, so Danny will be pleased with that effort and get on the front row. Really desperate for some big points today, the Haas driver, because he certainly has the ability to get onto the podium regularly. He's only got 40 points compared to the 101 points of Joker, so that just shows you, the lack of consistency. It looks like we're waiting for a car to retire. I think Jack's car. We've only got a minute before it auto ends anyway, so that was a fascinating qualifying session, but the result, perhaps not an unexpected one. And Goody, if he's watching this, he'll be thinking, oh no, come on. He was probably hoping for Joker to have a complete disaster, but Joker is in position now to take the lead of the championship. No one else can take the lead of the championship except Joker today. He's a point behind Goody going into round 9 of the championship. So Joker takes pole position from Danny, Pagani, Lorenzo, Cloudy, Carl, Jack, Jamie, Huberto, and Owen White make us up the top 10. And then we have Ritson, Wazzy, Little Piece, Nicolo, Acorn and Liliart making up the grid. And Wazzy, so everyone up outside the top 10 will have fresh choice of tyres. I don't actually know what the weather's going to be for the race, but we're going to leave that as a nice surprise for you all. So get your popcorn ready. We're about to go racing around one of the greatest tracks in Formula 1. And for a lot of the Brits racing here, the bragging rights of winning this race will be absolutely immense. But can the Dutchman, Joker, spoil the party for them, potentially? But what a great lap by Joker that was. And it's bright skies, overcast a little bit, at Silverstone. We see that splendid Silverstone building, paddock. So, predictions for the top three. Could be hard to call, but, you know, Joker will be looking once again to make a great start. He's been very good at the starts. Last race, we saw the Saubers clashing on lap 1, but Joker just about held off Cloudy. Now he's got Danny to deal with. But I get the feeling they're not teammates, so Danny may be a bit more aggressive if he gets the chance. Everyone should be going flat through turn 1, so there's big potential for contacts. And this time the admin has remembered the formation lap, unlike last week. So we're not going to get anyone caught out by the start. So probably a good thing. As Joker makes a steady getaway from the grids. And actually a few cars have actually overtaken him. But not that that matters. So then, let's have a look at the tyres of those outside the top 10. So then, Super Softs for Mr. Sim. Going for the aggressive start. So he's one to watch out for in the early laps. He could... You know, of his ability to quickly get into, you know, 11th place with that tyre advantage. But and then we have Liliard on the medium compound, Akon on the softs. Then we have Nicolo, Little Piece also on the medium compound. Then we have Wazzy on the softs. So a fresh set of softs, qualified on the softs, and he's got a fresh pair of them. And then we have Ritson, fresh from his race ban, on the medium compound. So watch out for someone outside the top 10 to spring a surprise. Can be a tough track to overtake here. So everyone runs similar setups. Maggots and Beckett's. Sector 2 is quite key in terms of the race because some drivers do struggle with Maggots and Beckett's. That's where a lot of the time is gained and lost. So watch some drivers struggling out the exit of Beckett's, leaving them open for an overtaking opportunity for the car behind. So Super Softs, of course, for everybody in the top 10. Apparently there's no rain predicted at the moment. This Little Piece gets a little bit too close to comfort for one of the cars in front. So let's go back to the front, and it's Joker who has kind of dropped back, just sort of warming his tyres up. So the grid will form up, not with the race leader go at the start. So we've got 19 watching so far, so thank you very much for your support for Inside Line Racing. This, incidentally, is my last race for Thursday Inside Line Racing for the time being, unfortunately due to work commitments, but hopefully you will see me again on one of the other days. But it has been great fun covering this league this season, and wish all the best for the commentary team who takes over from me starting next week. Same place, same time, official Inside Line Racing YouTube channel. So then, the grid has formed, and I'm getting all the different camera angles for some reason. But anyway, 5 red lights. Let's get a better view. Here we go. 5 red lights. Oh, it's a jump start from Pagani. A jump start from Pagani. Look at that. And the lights around. Away we go. Big distraction for Joker. And Danny's going to have a look at challenging. But no. Good drive from Joker. And he regains the lead. Oh, and there's contact behind between the Ferrari. So obviously Pagani leads on track because of that jump start. So Joker's actually second at the moment, but what a disaster for Pagani. This is the one track you don't want to drive through at. You're losing best part of 40 seconds, and he's probably just destroyed his race by misjudging it. And now Danny has lost a place to Lorenzo, so he's going to have to try and come back. And oh, and there's nearly contact between the two. And Lorenzo up to second place. Meanwhile, Cloudy is battling with Carl Metz behind for 5th place at the moment. They go up the old start-finish straight, and already Joker getting a bit of a gap to Lorenzo. This looks familiar, all too familiar. Meanwhile behind, is that going to be Jamie looking for a move on Little Piece into Cops? And indeed he does. He's got better grip, and oh, and Joker's gone way, so not Joker, sorry. Little Piece went way wide there, but we'll go straight back up a few places. It's all happening already. Oh, and Cloudy went onto the grass out of Beckett, and he's lost several places. That's a disaster for him. What does Pagani do? Will Pagani get out of the way and get the drive through? Does indeed he does. Oh, how frustrating for him. He's going to just sit there practically forever getting out of the pit garage. Oh man, awful start for Pagani, but we're going to focus now. Joker then takes the rightful place of the lead at the moment. Lorenzo in second, out of DRS range already, so the battle for the lead could be over already, but let's hope not. There's plenty of time to go. Jack now putting Carl Metz under pressure for 4th place. It's been a great start from the Renault driver, so let's have a look at the gains on the first lap. And 7 places gained for Acorn, looking for his first finish of the season, let alone points. So that's a brilliant start from the McLaren driver. Two places gained for Carl Metz, and Jack Cloudy, the big loser, outside of Pagani, of course. And Watsi and Huberto Mancini have pitted, assuming for wing damage. Let's have a look. Yep, replacement wings certainly. So let's have a look then. Danny now. Has he got a bit of wing damage, I wonder? Possibly missing an end plate on the right side of the wing, and he struggled through Copse there, and that's going to allow Carl Metz to close in on him just a little bit. There's all sorts going on, and actually Carl Metz not getting the best exit, goes on the curb bit. Will that allow Jack to run them? But if anything, Cloudy getting close as well, so we could have a bit of a feisty conclusion as they go through Stowe. No, they all maintain their current positions. Ritson seems really close to someone behind. Is Ritson going to have a lunge down the inside? Lydia. Oh, and he spuns it round. Oh, it was an optimistic move into the Vale, and he's lost all sorts of places. Little piece as he's lost half his wing and gets a 5-second penalty. So, my goodness, there's some real disasters going on for some of the drivers. Just keeping on the track is the best thing to do at this stage. But yeah, I think that was an optimistic move from the Mercedes driver, especially as he's not on the best tyres at this current stage. Yellows in sector 3. I assume that's Ritson recovering the car. Jack looks to challenge Carl Metz for 4th place. Still got yellows in sector 3. Not sure what's going on there. And meanwhile, Lorenzo's run really wide up ahead, and that's nearly opened the door for Danny, but Danny wasn't close enough to take advantage. But unusually, Lorenzo going very deep into Luffield, and that opened the door for him behind as we fly through Copse for the 3rd time. DRS then enabled then for all the drivers, so we may see some overtakes coming up. Lorenzo struggling for rear grip a bit. Look how close Danny through the dirty air from Magnussen Beckes. Is so tough on this game, but that's really well done by Danny. He's got really close and he's in DRS range now. Lorenzo sort of thinking about where to go defensively, but he's left the door open on the inside going into Stowe. But again, Danny not quite close enough. But will they be close enough into the Vale? Joker 1.7 seconds ahead, just up the road from them. He's not exactly charging away, but he's got a comfortable gap. Yellow's in sector 2. Not sure who that is. Stim is in 15th place, so really hasn't gained anything really, starting from the back of the grid on the best tyres. So that's a real shame for him. In fact, he's in 16th. And Owen White has retired from the race, so must have given up early. Hopefully he doesn't leave the session, because of course we'll get that glitch, which everyone should know about by now. So I think frankly leaving, given the knowledge in the game now, is quite selfish. But Danny trying to close in on Lorenzo, and actually Joker's lost some time. He's lost about 4 tenths in the first sector of this lap. So what's going on with Joker? Is he sort of tyre saving, trying to eke out the stint? He did that at Austria last week, one of his stints, which certainly helped him at the end. So Carl Metz then running in 4th. Cloudy challenging almost into Copse. Never going to get that move done there. Jack said, no, you're not coming through there, sunshine. And there's a lot going on right now. Oh, and Cloudy's the back end screaming for mercy almost. Now once again Danny getting a good exit out of Magnussen Beckes. He's done a better job than Lorenzo at those corners so far. And look behind, I think there's a Renault under attack from Cloudy, and now Danny tries to dive down the inside. What about Cloudy trying to go around the outside of Jack, and he gets forced off. Oh, it's like Vettel and Verstappen at 2017 last season. They touch going into the Vale. And Jack maintains the place. Really good defending from Jack, but he's jumped the curb and that's just slowed him down even more. And watch out for Jamie. It's a bit of a Renault sandwich that Cloudy finds himself in right now. They all go flat out through the opening set of corners. Cloudy looking desperately trying to recover the places he lost earlier. Look at that, right in front. There's 3 cars so close to each other. But let's stick on board with Cloudy just for a few moments, and Owen leaves the session. So yeah, that's a good job from the Red Bull driver to do that. And Stim is out of the race as well. So we've had 2 retirements from the race so far. We're only on lap 5. Seems to always be an attritional track, this one, strangely, given all the huge runoff areas, but it's just the sheer speed everyone's going at. The average speed of this track is absolutely tremendous. So Danny very close to Lorenzo once again, so let's have a quick look at him. Oof. And he's gone past into Copse. So Lorenzo making a mistake once again in sector 2, something he struggled with since the start of the race, and after he got past Danny, so he's lost the place now. He may be under threat from Carl Metz very shortly, but meanwhile Cloudy's got a great run on Jack, and this time he's going to have the inside up into Stowe corner, and he sweeps into 5th place. But can Jack come back at him? Runs wide, he's got to defend the Vale now. Jack will try and look for the outside, and it's really good braking, and Jack gets back past. Brilliant stuff from the Renault driver. He judged that to perfection. Cloudy probably can't believe it. He probably thought he had the move done, and he's once again behind this troublesome Renault, and he's got Jamie right behind him as well. Will Jamie have a little look into the loop? No, he will not. Carl Metz now closing in on Lorenzo. So although the battle for the lead might not be all the way to the flag, you get the sense the battle for the other podium places is going to go away. Look how close the top 10 are. Acorn running nicely in 8th place. He's just got to hold it together. It's a new experience for him. Hopefully he doesn't get a nosebleed from running so high up the grid. He's not had a lot of good fortune this season, but he's running in a superb 8th place. Nicolo's recovered well. He's in 9th, and Lilliard in 10th. It just goes to show, if you just, you know, avoid trouble, you can gain a lot of places. Pagani had that drive through on the first lap, hasn't even pitted yet, running in 11th. I mean, drive through here, drive through at any track is a disaster, but here it is absolutely shocking when you make that mistake, because recovering that time is impossible. It's too long a lap. If you have to make 2 stops, you cannot recover the time no matter how quick you are. Possible if there were safety cars enabled, but not on this one. So Danny is close within DRS range of Joker. So at this stage of the race, Danny appears to have better race pace than Joker, and that means we could get ourselves a battle for the lead that we want to see. As Cloudy closes right onto the back of Jack once again. Maybe he's got to think about a move in the first DRS zone instead. So let's have a quick look at Cloudy. Cloudy, yes, right behind Jack again. Been constantly frustrated by the Renault ahead. Seen this a few times with Cloudy this season, where he's kind of been stuck behind a car and unable to overtake, and he runs wide, goes onto the grass slightly. That's going to compromise his exit. So Danny in DRS range of Joker, but not close enough to make a move yet. Carl Metz, though, however, is very close to Lorenzo now, and Lorenzo's got to sort of buck his ideas up, because if he doesn't, he is certainly going to lose that 3rd place. The Joker has done a good job of sector 1. He's now eked out a gap beyond the DRS range once again. That's a great cops by Cloudy as we go on board. Surely he's not going to go for a move from Maggers and Beggars. And Jack having to think so much about defending, that could compromise. And yes, he runs wide, and Cloudy's got a great chance to get ahead of him before the DRS, and he should have it. And indeed he does. DRS activates. And will Jack actually be vulnerable from Jamie behind his teammate? So Cloudy finally gets the job done and moves up into 5th. Or does he? Where's Jack's actually having a look, and Danny pits then from 2nd place, looking maybe to get the undercut. It's going to all depend on what sort of traffic he comes out into. So Cloudy moves up into 4th place. Joker then 2.4 second gap to Lorenzo. Lorenzo still ahead of Carl Metz. So let's see what Danny goes for in terms of the tyre compound. It is going to be super softs. Surely not. No, mediums. So that's obviously a graphical glitch. I was going to say that's a strange strategy, but where's Danny going to come out on? There's Wazzy. This could be crucial. If Wazzy gets out in front of Danny, he's going to have traffic. But no, look, Danny has no traffic at all. So that means he's now got to really push on those fresh mediums and try and undercut Joker. So this could be a race-defining moment right here. So maybe, just maybe, the battle for the lead's not over. So Joker, is he going to think about a pit stop? Or extend his stint? Maybe. Go deep into the race and pit for the softs. Saw him employ similar tactics at the Austrian race. But Carl Metz now right on the back of Lorenzo, and Cloudy's been unable to break the DRS of Jack, so those two could be having another ding-dong battle up into Stowe very shortly. Carl Metz gets close to the Force India. The Pink Panther looks for a move on the prancing horse, but can't get it done. And he will get past him now because Lorenzo pits. Very tough pit entry to judge. You can easily pick up a time penalty because unlike a lot of the tracks, it is 37 miles an hour, the pit limit. So Joker carries on. So I think this is what I suspected. He likes to extend his first stint. We've seen that in quite a few races this season. He's going to be undercut all the time by Danny. Now where's Danny going to end up? That's going to be interesting to see. So let's see. Yeah, looks like mediums for a lot of them. Yeah, mediums for everybody. So the one stop, as I mentioned before the race, absolutely king. Where is Danny? Is Danny going to jump all these guys, or is it being a poor outlap for him? I think Danny's going to he's going to comfortably jump ahead of all these guys. He's 6.6 seconds behind Britson, so we'll be hoping he can catch him up quickly and not get held up too much. So any battles on track? Acorn running in 4th now. Wow, that is fantastic for Acorn. Highest position I've seen him in any race, and he's only a second away from Jamie. Jamie's super soft tyres will certainly be going off now. Some of these guys have been pitting a bit earlier from the super softs than I expected, but maybe they just pushed so hard battling that they just ruined their tyres. And that is another problem you have to consider on this track. So Acorn, Nicolo running in decent places right now, so they can certainly look forward to getting some points if they carry on like this. Acorn will be going for a while longer, and there goes Jamie pitting then from 3rd place. Jamie's going to be constantly being undercut by the other cars behind, so could find himself quite a bit behind some of the other cars. Is anyone trying a different strategy then? So then Jamie pits from 3rd place. Let's see what he goes for. Very surprised if it's nothing else but the medium compound. As the Renault pit crew get ready, and yep, medium tyres out. The black clad Renault crew doing a good job. That's a good pit stop. Danny is flying through the start finish straight now, but what about the rest? Cloudy and Jack going through the start finish straight. Yeah, I think Jamie is going to be behind all this lot. Will he get in front of Wazzy actually? Jamie doesn't want to get trapped behind him. Yeah, he comes out, slots in. So Wazzy was sort of the car he wanted to avoid. Wazzy recovering from what I suspect was first lap wing damage on the super soft, so he'll have to pit again. So Nicolo closing in on Acorn, so that's one of our close battles on track. So let's have a quick look at those two drivers. Give them a bit of airtime. Nicolo, the other Force India. Carl Metz, the other. So Force India running 2nd and 4th at the moment, but neither of them are pitted, of course. Let's have a brief look at what tyres everybody's on. Little piece that had to replace his wing. So it's a poor exit from Acorn. So McLaren versus the Force India. Nicolo looking for a move around the outside. Acorn covers it off fairly comfortably. Bit of a nudge from behind from Nicolo. No damage done. Acorn struggling a little, starting to struggle a bit on those softs. Mediums will be coming to the fore. These two started outside the top 10. So this is a nice little scrap for what is the final podium position at the moment. Like I said, both of them on track, and oversteer then from Acorn up ahead. So the DRS opens. Can Nicolo get the move done? Acorn goes defensive as he needs to. So Nicolo goes on the brakes, doesn't really have the grip to move around the outside, but through Luffield they go once again. Keeping an eye on the battle between Cloudy and Jack, they seem pretty close at the moment. Huberto closing on Little Piece in the battle for 14th, but we're going to focus on this one. This is our closest top 10 battle at the moment. Oh, and Nicolo runs miles wide at Copse. That's not going to make him able to close in, but Acorn not doing a great job of Maggers and Beggars. Those softs are definitely going off as we switch to this superb helicopter shot. DRS opens. Slipstream certainly affected by those leaving, but look at that, Nicolo getting closer and closer. He's gone for a late lunge. Well, sort of half-hearted just to say, yep, I'm here. Joker gets... Oh, Joker has got a penalty. He pits from the lead and he's got a time penalty. Oh, he can't believe it. The Sauber pit crew have their arms on their heads. They can't believe Joker's done that. Has he potentially thrown away the lead of the race? And speaking of the lead of the race, side by side through the opening corners go Acorn and Nicolo. Fantastic stuff there. But that Joker's mistake may have just turned this British Grand Prix on its head. Joker pits for the softs. Actually gets a time penalty as well. But Joker will now have to try and eke out an advantage of over 5 seconds at least to win this race. But how much has Danny been able to undercut him? Danny's actually got past him. Where's Joker ended up? Joker has been undercut massively. Absolutely massively. And he's ended up behind Jack and Cloudy, and Danny is 5.4 seconds up the road from these two. So down the inside goes Joker, puts his hands up. Oh, he is frustrated. He is boiling behind the cockpit. He's made that critical error in the pit stop, and maybe this time extending the stint wasn't the right move to make. I really want to see what Nicolo and Acorn are up to, because that was a fantastic little scrap, but this is a big moment in the race for Joker. But Joker's got to make up so much time. He's got the tyre advantage to the end of the race, but those tyres are going to be going on. Pagani retires from the race. He is out. And well behind Jack. Couldn't do Maggers and Beggars on those tyres, and he's maybe just thinking, well, I haven't got the tyres to fight. But that's going to put Jack under enormous pressure behind from Carl Metz and Jamie. Three-way battle then for 8th place. Carl Metz on the softs as well, so some different change strategy. Acorn then pits. A superb first stint for him, so fair play to him. His best race of the season up to this point so far. I hope I don't curse him by saying that, but he's looking, he can certainly look good for some points if he can, you know, settle in, maybe get out ahead of Little Piece. Yeah, it's all for a point, because Little Piece is 38 seconds behind. And look at that, Joker's already caught his teammate, and I suspect there'll be some team orders here so he can chase Danny up ahead. But let's see, will the Sauber driver pull ahead? And yeah, there you go, team orders. He's still on to take the championship lead, so it's not the biggest disaster, but he wants to win this race. But he's got to pass Danny and get 5 seconds. And he's 6.5 seconds behind. I suspect he'll catch Danny quickly, but Danny's going to have to defend and stop Joker as much as he can to prevent him. But, you know, some will argue if Joker wins this race, even though he's got the 5-second penalty, he still would have gained time by going fast into the pit lane rather than slowing down. So maybe a bit of controversy either way. But Carl Metz now moving on to the back of Jack with the other Renault behind. Renaults have been real fans of sandwiching people so far this race. But Jack made a... I'm not sure if he got out of the way of Joker, but it certainly didn't do his tyres any good. And those softs of Carl Metz in the ascendancy at the moment. Jack demoted to 8th place. Carl Metz up to 7th. 2 Saubers up ahead. So Joker then. Is Joker going to set the fast lap of the race right now as across the line? Indeed he does. A 1:31, 1:31. And now he's got the gap. He's going to get the gap under 6 seconds to Danny. Danny then closing on Ritson. And they'll be hoping those medium runners will be pitting anytime soon. The only runners not pitting. So we've had 3 retirements from the 17 who started. Mr. Sim missed qualifying. He retired. And then Owen White had an early retirement. And then Pagani, well, he had a drive-through penalty for jumping the start, and it's been an absolute disaster for him. So another great qualifying session for Pagani. ruined by a mistake at the start. So Danny is your net race leader at the moment. So when the 3 cars in front of him pit, he will be winning this race. But Joker is behind him in 5th place. He's got to push so hard. Will that, you know, cause a problem with his tyres later on? That will be quite a key thing. The 2 Renault drivers very close to each other. So we'll keep an eye on the progress of Joker. That's the 2 Renaults running in 8th and 9th. So at the moment, it's another great result for the Sauber team, and they will take a colossal lead of the Constructors' Championship if it stays like this. Because at the moment, in terms of the net positions, when Ritson, Lilliard, Nicolo pits, the top 3 will be Danny, Joker and Cloudy. So 2 Saubers in the top 3. Nicolo pits then from 2nd place for Force India. We'll see what he goes on. The gap for the lead at the moment, just seeing what it is when these arrows calm themselves down. It's 5.1 seconds between Danny and Joker. Lap 15 then. We are well over half distance now. So where's Nicolo going to come out? Nicolo is going to come out behind Acorn, but Nicolo has the soft compound, so Nicolo could be on for some decent points here, maybe 9th at least. Huberto 8th, 2nd bike, so Acorn still on for some points. He just needs to keep going as he has been. 1 point will do, finishing a race will do. So what's the closest battle on track? Lilliard and Ritson then, the only 2 haven't pitted. Lilliard for Williams, Ritson for Mercedes. So Danny, your net leader in 3rd place at the moment. Joker in 4th. Cloudy Balloons in 5th. Carl Mertz in 6th. And then we got Jack in 7th. Jamie in 8th. Acorn in 9th. And Nicolo in 10th. And speaking of Nicolo, Nicolo is going for a move into Copse against Acorn and uses that superior fresh rubber of the soft to get it done. That was brave. Bravery at its most. So Nicolo up to 9th. Acorn probably won't mind that too much. He's got a big gap to Huberto, so just keep going and get your point on the board. That's what you've got to do. It's all about results, this business. Whether it's maximum points or 1 point, getting into the points, that's what it's all about. Especially for Acorn, who's not finished any of the races he's taken part in this season. So 4.4 seconds between Danny and Joker. Joker, as you'd expect with the tyre advantage he has, is rapidly closing in now. And the 2 Renaults look fairly close to each other. They look, strategy-wise, they look out of the fight for the podium now. And if anything, Nicolo's going to catch these 2, make it a three-way tussle for 7th place. So Huberto has dropped down. Something's happened to Huberto. Oh, Huberto's disconnected by the looks of it. His car had ghosted, or maybe he span, we didn't really see. So that has really made it easier for Acorn to get to the points now. The only driver really who was close to him. So what a horrendous race it's turned out for Lorenzo, running in 14th. Was that a disconnect? I didn't see what happened to him, to be honest. Yeah, disconnect for Lorenzo. I missed that. I think it may have happened at the same time Joker got his penalty. So that's probably why I didn't notice, but there was so much going on. So then Ritson pits then, getting out of the way out Danny. Danny probably relieved about that, so he didn't have to overtake Ritson. So Ritson pits, where will he end up? He could be a potential rival for Nicolo and Acorn. Joker then setting the fastest lap of the race. Now let's remind you, Joker's got to pass Danny and then get a 5-second gap at least before the end of the race. That is a tall order, because he doesn't have, he has the softs, but it's not a massive tyre advantage. Nicolo sets the fastest lap of the race on a 1:30.886. Ritson's on the super softs. So Lilliard then leads this race, the only driver who hasn't pitted yet. It's been a good stint on those mediums for Lilliard. And it's reward for Lilliard, maybe potential points at the end. You have Super Ritson, keep an eye on his pace. He's the only super soft runner out there at the moment. Fresh super softs at this stage of the race. Big advantage. 3.6 seconds then. Lap 17 of this Inside Line Racing 3 British Grand Prix. We've seen some great overtakes and a few spills, as this track always delivers. So Carl Metz is Less than a second now behind Cloudy, looking to move up to 4th. And this effectively is the battle for the podium, in fact. The final podium position, because I don't think Cloudy's going to be able to challenge Danny or Joker unless they make massive errors. Of course, Joker is not 5 seconds ahead of his teammate yet, so he's got to think about that as well. If he can't win the race, he's got to think about, you know, getting in the maximum points he can. But Carl Metz will be in no mood to let any of them get away. So, what about... So look at Jack, who's under pressure. And look at that, the pace of Joker, tremendous at this stage of the race. But Jamie unable to get past his teammate at the moment. So ILRGT is being caught by Danny. Danny is on the mediums, not the super softs, as the graphic you can see. And a 5-second soft go penalty for Little Piece. Well, that ends any chance he has of getting into the points at this stage of the race. And pitting at this stage, well, you're nowhere. So Joker now 3.1 seconds behind. This is a big moment in the race. Danny is up against 18 lap old mediums on ILRGT. You would think Danny would get this done easily, but you never know what happens in these Formula 1 races. Cloudy now under immense pressure from Carl Metz. Carl Metz is on the better strategy at the moment, but he's got to get the job done still. But we're going to go back to Danny. It's a big slide of oversteer out of Beckett's, and Danny now has an opportunity. ILRGT's going to not make it easy, but he's left the gap open. First of all, he's going to close the gap off, but no, Danny is going to get the move done. Will ILRGT finally call it a day on that medium compound and pit? No, he will not. ILRGT trying to come back. And look at that, there's Joker closing on this too. Danny's lost a lot of time getting that move done. And Carl Metz not able to get past it. Joker sets another fastest lap, heading further and further down the 1:30s. Joker in DRS range of ILRGT and nearly in DRS range of Danny as well. So Joker needs to get past this Williams quickly, but don't forget that Williams is going to have DRS as well, so Joker may get caught behind through Lutfield, so that will slow him down a bit. What about Cloudy? Under pressure from Carl Metz again. Carl Metz has the better tyres. Will he go for a late lunge as we head towards Lutfield? No, it's not close enough to do that. So the reminder, ILRGT has not pitted yet, so Carl Metz versus Cloudy is effectively the battle for 3rd place. Joker in the dirty air of the Williams ahead through Copse, and that is not an ideal place. And look at that, Danny is eking out a bit of time ahead and may get DRS of that lapped car ahead as well, so that will help Danny's cause. Lap 19 then. So how defensive will ILRGT go from Joker behind? And ILRGT has DRS again, and Joker's gonna may have to go for a late lunge down the inside. Not close enough to ILRGT getting the DRS, but round the outside Joker goes. And goes off track to get the move done, but I think ILRGT's pitting anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think if ILRGT wasn't pitting, that was slightly naughty, going off track to get the move done like that, but it doesn't matter because ILRGT's pitting anyway. So Joker now has lost a lot of time because of that. So Danny 1.7 seconds ahead. Joker only needs a point to take the lead of the championship, but you can see how hungry he is for the win. Carl Metz dives down the inside into the loop. Can Cloudy come back at him? The switchback. Cloudy has a run on Carl Metz, but who's going to get the DRS now? I'm not sure who went through the activation point. No, Carl Metz did. So Carl Metz is running in 3rd. ILRGT coming out of the pits. Ritson has closed right onto the back of Acorn. So let's see what Ritson's doing. So yeah, Acorn under real threat, running in 8th for the moment. Ritson's going to try and use the superior grip with the super softs around the outside, and Acorn defending aggressively. He doesn't care, he's got massive tyre disadvantage at this stage of the race, but he's not giving up this fight for the points. But this will allow ILRGT to close on these two quickly, you would suspect. Ritson's got to try McLaren versus Mercedes, a dream real-life battle that we probably won't see this season in a competitive environment. Ritson trying to get this move done to move up into 8th place, and maybe Nicolo is not out of range even with this little luck, because he'll be so much quicker. But Acorn going defensive again. Oh, and Ritson has better traction out of Stowe, and they're going to go side by side into the Vale. And Ritson, I think, is going to get the move done yet. Better traction through the Vale and Club Corner, and Ritson moves up to 8th place. Nicolo may be out of range now. So the top 3 is as you were, and if anything, Joker's not really closing in on Danny. Have those soft tyres gone already? He's pushed so hard, setting fastest lap after fastest lap to get into range of Danny, but don't forget, he needs to pass Danny and get 5 seconds to win this race, because he hasn't served his time penalty after making that mistake in the pit lane, which potentially has cost him the race win here. And look how much Joker's pushing, running wide at Copse, but Danny won't mind that at all. He'll see that and he'll have a little smirk behind the helmet, because you can see that Joker is so frustrated. He'd think a win has certainly slipped away from him today, which would have been a 3rd win in a row after his victories at Baku and Austria. And of course another win at Spain earlier in the season, where he really impressed that day. But it's less than a second now. Lap 22 then, with this inside line racing free British Grand Prix. We are entering the closing stages. What has been an enthralling race here around this magnificent track. And Joker, oh, Joker getting a snap of oversteer behind and loses time again. Those soft tyres not looking healthy. Should get to the end, but can you imagine if he got a puncher at the death and still couldn't take the lead? Goody would be jumping off his chair and leaping about the place, bouncing off the ceiling with delight, and then pretending, oh, bad luck my friend, just to be polite. But I'm sure Joker has it in hand. He may be accepting that the win's gone now because of that penalty, but let's have a look down the order. The 2 Renault teammates still very close in this battle for 5th. But despite Cloudy losing 3rd place to Carl Metz, it's looking like another superb result for the Sauber team. I mean, they're the 2 constructors. What about Williams? No, Williams had 112 points, but Good not being here. And Lilliard currently in 1 point, so Williams aren't really going to be able to close the gap. In fact, McLaren will gain a point. Gain some points on Williams. That's a really good result for them. We're going to have a quick look then. Joker now has closed within, well, momentarily he closed within DRS range, but actually couldn't maintain it. Lap 23 then seems to have a really good gist of it in sector 1. But lack of slipstream is really hurting him. But he stayed out too long. He ended up behind a lot of other cars, and that's not even without mentioning the penalty. Maybe he should have pitted a few laps earlier, because he ended up behind, you know, some fast cars which he had to really struggle to get past. And that ultimately, Danny's decision to pit early on the mediums has ultimately put him in this position. He was the first to pit of the leaders, and it's really paid off. The undercut's been tremendously strong here, and this could be useful information for some of the other drivers who have yet to race here in inside line racing. So the closest on-track battle is between the 2 Renaults, and look, as I mentioned, Nicolo's pace was such that I suspected he was going to catch these 2 Renaults before the end of the race, and indeed he has. Look, Jamie putting a wheel on the grass. He's got DRS, but Nicolo has got big tyre advantage at this point. Joker is in DRS range as well, so we'll switch back to him. Oh, Nicolo having a look. Nicolo had a really poor qualifying, but it's looking really good for a result here. Now into the Vale they go. Jamie would have seen any move from Nicolo coming and closes it off. There's no opportunity for a switchback at the moment. Oh, they're going through the start-finish straight. It's a really poor exit from Jamie, and will there be an opportunity into turn 1? I think there will be, and Nicolo is going to sweep into 6th place with an absolutely sweet move. But look at that, coming back, Jamie lunges to the inside. What a brilliant attempt to take the place back. It was worth going for. The gap was there, but he couldn't get the car slowed down, Danny Ricciardo style. But fair play to Jamie. He saw the gap open there. Nicolo didn't close it off, and he thought, you know what, I'm trying to get this place back, but he couldn't quite get it done. So Nicolo up to 6th. Lap 24 then, Joker has finally closed onto the back of Danny with 2.5 laps to go, but it's just too little too late. He's got to get past Danny and then try and set some sensational laps to get that 5-second gap, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Not the best exit out of Beckett's by Danny. But the lack of slipstream is going to make it difficult for Joker to close in. Joker runs wide. And look how much he can close in on Danny. Danny looking for victory, which will be by far his best result of the season. He's had a podium in Spain, but outside that, as I mentioned in qualifying, he's been very inconsistent. But this would be a big answer to his critics if he can win here. Lap 25 then, the penultimate lap. Nicolo and Jamie are furiously battling behind, but we're going to stick with this. And Cole Meds just sort of relaxed in 3rd. He's got a bit of a gap to Cloudy behind. We'll be fingers crossed that something happens where he needs to gift him the win. But these two have had tremendous sessions tonight. Joker on pole position, Danny the best one-stop strategy. Went as early as he could, had great pace on the mediums on his outlap, and that's what's put him in this position. And Nicolo and King still fighting at it. Let's have a quick look at these two. Well, fair play to Jamie. Nicolo's going to come back at him and retake the place, so that's a fantastic little scrap for what is 6th place. Back to Joker then. Oh, Joker runs wide. Oh, he's on the grass, and I think that is going to seal the victory for Danny unless something massive happens to Danny, but that is a massive error, and I don't think Joker is going to be able to win the race on track at least, but it would have been impossible for him to get a 5-second gap in one lap unless Danny made a tremendous mistake. So Danny has one hand on that winner's trophy for the British Grand Prix. 1.4 seconds gap. I don't think Joker's even going to be in DRS range. He's going to surely have to settle for 2nd. Now what's going on with Jamie? Jamie still trying to get back that 6th place from Nicolo. It's getting closer. We'll have a look at them in a second when they get into the DRS zone, but yeah, I think Joker has probably put the engine down, and it's probably, yeah, that pit stop mistake, I'm going to just have to settle for 2nd place. But Cloudy in DRS range. Look at this, Jamie's looking for a move on Nicolo once again. Nicolo, I thought he'd get away from Jamie quickly, but he hasn't. Jamie is fighting tooth and nail for that 6th place. It's almost like he bought it before the race and someone's stolen it from him and he wants it back. They're going to go side by side into Copse. This could end in tears, but look at this, Jamie on much older tyres and Nicolo behind, and he's gone back up to 6th. Fantastic move into Copse. We're going to switch back to Danny shortly. He's entering the final part of the track. Oh, they go side by side. Oh no, they went side by side for a moment into Maggots and Beckett's, and Nicolo's been collected. And Danny crosses the line and wins the British Grand Prix from the Joker. And Cole Meds will take 3rd place. But oh, what a bad incident for those two right at the end. And Ritson is going to gain up to 6th place. Acorn is still running in 10th at the moment. But great victory for Danny. Let's see what's happened for the cars behind. Jamie crosses the line in frustrated 7th place. Lilliard will cross the line in a superb 8th place. Nicolo then just about finishes ahead of Acorn in 9th. And Acorn gets his first finish and points of the season. brilliant drive from the McLaren driver, but let's go on board with the race winner. Danny, he got the strategy spot on today, and it's his first win of the season. Maybe not a title challenger, but hey, who knows? If there's a long way to go, and if he can pull a few results like this together, he could certainly give Joker and Good something to think about. But yes, Joker, despite finishing second, he takes the lead of the Inside Line Racing Prix Championship as we go into the next round. Well, for my final race in this tier before the next commentary team takes over, that was a fine conclusion. So we're going to get the podium then for this British race. Hope you all enjoyed that. An outstanding race from the ILR3 grid. And it's Danny Boy. He's done it. He's on the top step of the podium. The fans here go absolutely wild. Joker, I think he'll be slightly disappointed. He threw that win away almost with that error in the pit stops. But despite that, he takes the lead of the championship. And Cole Meds, have to mention him as well, on the podium again. Second podium of the season after taking third in Bahrain. So, Danny then. First place, Joker in second, Cole Meds in third, Cloudy in fourth, Jack in fifth, Ritson in sixth, Jamie in seventh, Liliar in eighth. And, well, disappointing end for Nicolo's race, finishing in ninth. And Acorn, as we mentioned, in 10th. And then Wazzy, Little Piece, and we had quite a few retirements in the end. So yeah, a great race there for Inside Line Racing. So there'll be more Inside Line Racing action to come on this particular YouTube channel, so I hope you all come back to tune in for the weekend for the next rounds of the championship. But just want to thank the Inside Line Racing team for giving me this opportunity for the Thursday night shift, and I hope to see you again for another day when it becomes available. So thanks for watching, and see you next time on the Inside Line.